A very good afternoon to everyone. So we have taken up one part of this chapter. The second part I'm giving from some other book. Yes. So this is an easier one. This particular topic is an easier one, privatization and globalization. So let us start with privatization. Privatization is a process of transfer to private ownership and control of assets or the enterprises which were previously under the public ownership. Yes, those enterprises which were earlier under the government sector, now they are now under the private sector. The government has chosen diversification to gradually private public sector undertakings, to privatize the public sector undertakings. Yes, so this was done in the wake of the major reason was what? Most of the PSUs of the government sector enterprises which were existing before 1990, they were going into huge losses. So to cover up the losses, the government had no thought of, after 1991, the new economic policy, as per that, they thought of selling off either wholly or partially the public sector undertakings to the private sector. Disinvestment, yes, means selling off the shares of the public sector companies to the private individuals and the institutions. So when public sector units were started, all the shares of such units were owned by the government only. The private sector did not have any control or did not have any shares or any the holdings over the public sector enterprise. So under the NEP or the new economic policy, the government has now started selling a portion of the holding, that is the portion of their enterprise, yes, in the form of shares to the private individuals, and institutions keep the major portion. But these institutions, initially the government had decided to sell only a portion and not the entire holding, but now they have started selling the whole of it also. Earlier it was not more than 50%, yes, but now they have started selling. Most of them have been sold completely to the private sector enterprises. So if the process continues, we may find that these units are ultimately managed by the private sector. So this was the direct step towards privatization. The step has become necessary because the major reason was many of the PSUs, they were continuously running into losses and they were not being managed efficiently. And except for a few Navratnas, mini Ratnas, which still are showing profits, I have given a reference to that in the PDF. We'll go through that also. Now the next one is globalization. After privatization, we have globalization, the third policy in LPG. Globalization refers to geographical shift in the domestic economic activity for the nations, that is for all the nations of the world. That is, the economy is open to the world economy. Our Indian economy now is open to the world economy. We can export and import freely with any country of the world. Yes, no, it wasn't the same before 1990. So many quotas and tariffs were imposed on the imports to make them costlier. Neither we were allowed to import much nor export much. So it refers to a process by which the whole world becomes a single market, and the products the products as well as the capital, that is the machinery, the labor, yes, they can freely move about anywhere in the whole world. So globalization means integrating the domestic economy with the rest of the world. Our economy is open to the rest of the world, and the rest of the world is open to our economy. One major step towards globalization was to allow liberal inflow of direct foreign investment, or the foreign direct investment known as FDI. The MNCs, so many MNCs have come up in our country now. This is because of the free foreign direct investment, which the government has allowed for the other companies to come and invest in our country, which is providing employment to such a huge number of unemployed youth in the country. Foreign direct investment brings in foreign exchange, yes, which is so much necessary for our country. It brings in foreign exchange, it brings in latest technology, it brings in the latest managerial techniques, expertise in managing the various enterprises. So these are the benefits of globalization. Then liberalization, and liberalizing the foreign investment has resulted in outsourcing. This is something very important: outsourcing of services by the foreign multinational companies. Yes, so they have been made possible by the growth of information technology. Our country is a IT hub now, so most of the MNCs, they are coming and going in for outsourcing. They have adopted India as a source of outsourcing. So these services include what all? Voice based businesses. Multinational companies is one in which conducts the businesses in more than one country. Any multinational company is one which is having businesses in more than one country. Then outsourcing refers to what? It refers to the practice of buying goods and services by a firm from outside suppliers rather than producing them within the firm. Why? Because it is cheaper for them if they take the services from the other countries. Like we have so many BPOs, yes, outsourcing units in our own country, in our own Jaipur. If we talk about, Genpact is one of them. So these services include the voice-based businesses processes, the BPOs which we call. Then they give the accounting services also. They give the clinical advices. They also perform the teaching services. They also give the teaching services. All these are rendered by the BPOs. The main factor why India, say suppose, has been chosen as a source of BPO or outsourcing, the reason being what? The labor is cheap here. The cost of these services is cheaper. Yes, and because the labor is cheap and we have educated people in our country. Yes, the availability of skilled manpower is available, and that too at a very low cost. That is the reason why so many MNCs are opening up, or so many foreign countries are considering India to be a good hub for outsourcing. Now, after doing this, we have taken up liberalization, we have taken privatization, we have taken globalization. So after this, let us just appraise, or let us just review what the LPG policies have done for the country, for our country. Adoption of this LPG or NEP, how far has it taken our country over these years? Almost around 30 years. Appraisal of economic reforms. So out here, the basic objective of all economic policies is to increase the welfare of the common man. This was the major reason why it was adopted. The immediate concern to common man is what? Employment. Unemployment means poverty. More employment means less poverty. Majority of the population, that is about 60% in our country, lives in the rural areas and depends on agriculture. Development of agriculture in India, yes, means development of common man. Yes, it's so important in a country like ours, development of agriculture. So let us see. Another concern to common man is what? It is the price level, which determines the purchasing power of the people, whatever he is earning. So with that amount of money, how much is he able to purchase? The higher the inflation rate, the more is the discomfort, especially for the poor people. So economic reforms were formally initiated in the year 1991 up to 2018. 27 years have passed. It is a good enough period to assess the reforms. So they have given a table here, yes, showing the growth rate of India, the various sectors from 2011-12 to 2018-19. You can just have a look at this. Yes, they have given the industrial production, how much it has changed, agriculture production, how much it has changed. Yes, and they have given the GDP at constant market price. That is the base year price. We'll talk about this afterwards in your macroeconomics. The base year price is, the base year is what? Year of comparison with which we compare the prices. Yes, so as per that, they have given the GDP at constant prices from 11-12 up to 18-19. You can see there is a growth. Yes, there was a growth up to 15-16. Yes, even up to 16-17, and then it started coming down. There are so many reasons behind it. So now let us talk about in detail the assessment of the appraisal of the LPG policy. The growth rate of economy. Let us see. The growth rate means rate of growth of GDP at constant prices. The table shows this. So it is simply the rate of increase in production of goods and services. GDP increasing means what? The rate of growth, that is the goods and services production, is going on increasing. During the 10-year period Yes, before and after 1991, rate of growth remained stable around 5.5%, which again increased to around 8.2% in 1617, and again it started coming down to 6.8 in 1819.